Hello, everybody. Marino Ravenberg here again, as always, and as usual. Yeah, it's geolocation chart time again, and you can tell what time it is in the top left corner. I'm going to cover the country or nation of Haiti. Now, before I begin, let me just state that this is going to be a quick video, but you can already tell based on the time duration of this video itself. I know I say that often, but it's really short this time. I want to deliberately keep it as short as possible. And secondly, someone in the comment section of the geolocation chart video on Canada, the last geolocation chart video I did a couple of days ago compared to the release date video, compared to the release date of this video, this is just a coincidence. Of course, I'm not in the habit. Submissions are welcome. I repeat, submissions are welcome. So if you want to say, hey, can you cover this country? Can you cover my country? I can take it into consideration, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually going to do it. Just an FYI. Now, let's get down to it. Now, Haiti, I wanted to cover a nation that's generally speaking not doing so well in the way of overall quality of life and prosperity. Obviously, no offense meant to Haitians, but facts are facts, period. Now, the pot of fortune is here in Gemini, and it's conjunct the ascendant in the first house of Haiti, which simply stands for Haiti as a nation as a whole. The fact that it's there stands for the fact that Haiti is a very compact and is a very compact nation and doesn't have a lot in the way of territory going for it. So it's not a large gorilla of a nation, geographically speaking. No, quite it's quite mobile in terms of commuting and overall day-to-day movement from left to right, metaphorically speaking, and vice versa. That's what the pot of fortune also stands for, as well as the ascendant, so both of them. Now, the second house is neutral, ruled by Cancer. The third house, ruled by Leo. It has Juno, respectively, in it, in Leo, Lilith, and Venus in Virgo. Juno there, the fact that it's opposed Saturn, yeah, it's opposed Saturn, stands for the fact that there is a lot of illegality, unfortunately, and a lot of shadiness going on a day-to-day basis at an abundant level. Lilith and Venus also say the same thing, unfortunately, coming from both men and or women, as well as women. That's why Saturn is a cross. I'll get to Saturn later on. That's what it stands for in general when it comes to work and working conditions and whatnot. The fact that Lilith and Venus are weak, Lilith being in one of the weakest signs it can be in, so the Black Moon, stands for the fact that, again, working conditions and circumstances are horrible, as well as day-to-day life. Commuting is horrible, and it also stands for the fact that people, generally speaking, seek romantic unions with each other, so men and women of Haiti. They try to get together because two heads are better than one. That is the main focus, generally speaking. Other than what I already said. The fourth house, ruled by Virgo, has the moon in it, which is in Libra, which stands for the fact that women, generally speaking, are more active in the household, as well as the fact that they're the peacekeepers of the household. They try to keep the household balanced and prevent it from falling apart and whatnot. We've got Pallas, Mercury, and the Sun, all and the South Node, all in Libra in the fifth house, which stands for the fact that there is a heavy focus on the entertainment industry. There is a heavy focus on anything people can do for the sake of entertainment and or working in the entertainment industry, because that is the most fruitful option essentially for Haitians. But of course, this is reserved only for comparable to the entirety of the population, only for a select or to a select amount of individuals. That's why you've got Chiron and the Earth in Aries across, as well as the North Node. Mars is in one of the strongest signs it can be in one of the zodiac signs it rules over, which is Scorpio, and you've got Ceres there as well in Scorpio. Mars is 1 degree in Scorpio, obviously, and Ceres is 11 degrees. And the sixth house is ruled also by Scorpio. Now, the fact that Mars is in Scorpio here stands for the fact that, especially from men, that's why it's Mars. It applies more to men than to women. But people overall, but especially men, there is a heavy focus on the entertainment sector and gaining money or extracting money from it. So think of betting, gambling, anything that essentially is done for the purposes of entertainment and yet has a possibility, a strong possibility for a high potential financial turnout and or profit-based turnout. That's what both of these mean, especially Mars. Ceres simply stands for the fact that this is what people occupy themselves with on a day-to-day basis. Pluto is in Capricorn in the 8th house, which stands for the fact that there is potential in essentially anything that can be seen as cheap labor, honestly. There is potential in cheap labor. There is potential in dealing with anything that requires delving into a matter, like crime investigations, things such as how do I put this? Things that deal with death, for example, funeral processing affairs, stuff like that. There is potential in those directions or in those sectors or fields that can yield a good amount of profit financially. Saturn is in Pisces going retrograde in the 9th house, which stands for the fact that men primarily occupy the educational and the political sector, and as well as the sector dealing with foreign affairs and whatnot. But the fact that Saturn is going retrograde, it's already ridiculously weak in Pisces in this specific situation, as well as in general overall. And the fact that it's going retrograde is like a nail in a metaphorical coffin. It simply means that the majority of people involved in the aforementioned fields and or sectors or lines of work are corrupt to the core. We're talking about to the core. Like I already discussed earlier, that's why Saturn is opposed both Juno, Lilith, as well as Venus, also super duper weak. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, Juno isn't necessarily weak in Leo, but in this context it is, most definitely. We have Neptune at its strongest in Pisces, but it's going retrograde, which essentially is like someone slapping themselves in the face with all of their strength. And it's in the 10th house that deals with authority figures. So think of judges, lawyers, anyone that finds themselves in a so-called superior position on the societal scale. Think of bosses of companies, think of CEOs of corporations, think of police chiefs and whatnot, anyone that is the head or that is in a position where they reside or preside over others. And the fact that Neptune is going retrograde simply means that they're also corrupt to the core. Literally, like really, just fucked up. Metaphorically speaking, beyond recognition. The 11th house is ruled by Aries, and I know this degree by memory. 13 degrees in Aries, it stands for trial, stands for hardship and pain and suffering. And it speaks for itself because the 11th house is essentially, it represents the masses, so the majority of the population of Haiti, the absolute majority, like 80% and up. And the fact that it's ruled by this zodiac sign and this degree specifically means that, simply put, bluntly put, life is a living nightmare for the people of Haiti, a seemingly never-ending nightmare, a metaphorically never-ending nightmare. I already discussed what Chiron and the Earth stand for. Generally speaking, they stand for the fact that people wish that life could become better and that they could have someone essentially, not necessarily a leader, but that they could find the willpower to deal with all the hardships that they have to deal with in life. Both the North and the South Node are respectively, obviously, as always, opposed. The South Node is in Libra and the North Node, therefore, is in Aries, 24 degrees, both of them, down to the last minute. And both are going retrograde, which simply stands for the fact that, unfortunately, change will never come, or it's highly unlikely that change will never come. It simply stands for the fact that Haiti is tumultuous and chaotic by nature, and that you don't have to expect things to get better anytime soon, both metaphorically as well as literally, unfortunately for Haitians. Now, Jupiter is in Taurus, going retrograde in the 11th house. Again, another kick to the balls, or kick to anything that's soft and very vulnerable as a body part. Jupiter in Taurus and going retrograde, it simply stands for the fact that the population in the 11th house, it stands for the fact that the masses, just like I said earlier, life is tough for them, especially financially. Jupiter deals with a lot. Taurus deals with money in this context, and it going retrograde simply stands for the fact that the people of Haiti suffer a lot financially. They can barely afford toilet paper to wipe their asses, bluntly put. A shame, but yeah, it is what it is. And the fact that Jupiter is also conjunct the 12th house, which is ruled by 16 degrees in Taurus, stands for the fact that this level of devastating level of financial hardship causes mental illness. Honestly, it has mental illness as a subsequential effect. Last but not least, we have Uranus in Taurus going retrograde as well, 22 degrees in the 12th house, which simply stands for the fact that there are people that try to commit fraud through technological means. Think of online scamming and whatnot. As well as, let me see if there's anything else. No, that's pretty much it. Nothing else mentioned worthy in any case. Again, as I already said earlier, it has the lack of financial stability and financial hardship overall, and pain and suffering leads to mental illness. But Uranus simply says specifically bipolar disorder and whatnot, essentially leading to tremendous levels of mood swings, or it leads people to adversely become completely dull to the point where they just become like mindless zombies. They're just like, yeah, what's the point, in doing anything? They become completely demoralized. And that is it for Haiti. Goodbye, and until next time.